Welcome to the Restoration Pros Unplugged podcast. In each episode, we're going to bring you insightful interviews and discussions with top restoration industry leaders. We're also going to delve into their business, the strategies that made them successful, and most importantly, the valuable lessons they learned along the way. I'm your host, Clinton James. I'm also the Chief Marketing Officer at Water Restoration Marketing. We're a digital marketing agency dedicated to helping restoration companies nationwide secure more high-value water jobs. Now, this show, it aims to provide you with the knowledge and tools you need to excel in the restoration industry. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. And welcome, folks, back to another episode of the Restoration Pros Unplugged podcast. I am your host, Clinton James, Chief Marketing Officer over at Water Restoration Marketing.
And I'm Bobby Thomas, your co-host, CEO of Extreme Services.
Bobby, thanks for joining me again today. You're not at home. You're out in the field today. Where are you?
I am. I'm in Memphis, Tennessee today, man.
Okay.
So I'm at my Memphis location.
All right, good stuff. Now, we are pleased to be joined by James Longley of Gorilla Truck Box. James, thanks for joining us today.
I'm excited to be with you guys this morning.
Now, I had the pleasure of meeting James at the RIA event a few weeks ago down in West Palm Beach. Great organization, great event. The reason I met James was first at the hotel, but second on the vendor showroom floor, because he had one of the biggest, most beautiful service vehicles I have ever seen in the restoration space. He had crowds all around him. We shot a little video content there, and I thought, man, service vehicles are absolutely imperative to the success of scaling up a restoration company. So I wanted to give James an opportunity to come on here and talk a little bit about what Gorilla Truck Box can provide for restoration companies. But before we do that, why don't you tell us, James, what inspired you to create Gorilla Truck Box? What was the specific issue? Because every good product comes with a problem, right? So what did you identify as the big problem in the restoration field that pushed you into thinking that we needed something better?
Well, I learned it through the school of hard knocks, as most of us do, if we get into the cleaning and restoration business. My dad had started a business back in 1970, real early 70s, and I kind of grew up around it. And, of course, we got into restoration and other things. But never liked the vehicles that we had to work at. They were all disorganized, so organization was my biggest thing. I'm big on organization because I think that's really the key to productivity. It's just how well organized you are as a company, and how your equipment is organized and so forth. So I didn't like having to crawl in and out of the vans constantly. They were back in that day when we were doing it. It was, a standard Chevy van, a standard Ford van. And so when you get into restoration with your reel in the back and all a 3-tier shelf on the side and all that, there's no room for drying equipment. So it became a real problem trying to keep things organized. And you were constantly going back and forth to the shop to get stuff that you didn't have on your truck when you get on the job, So there's a lot of problems there.
I like that you mentioned that, because when I drive around, I live in Northern California. I'm originally from Texas, but when I drive around and I see service vehicles for restoration companies, because God knows there's plenty of them in my neck of the woods, I see everything from vans to trucks with their back covered there. I see Sprinter vans there. So there's really doesn't seem to be a lot of uniformity when it comes to service vehicles in our industry. But when I talk to people that own restoration companies, everybody has the same complaints about service vehicles nowadays, right? So Bobby, tell James what you use right now.
So we use Nissan vehicles. So we have the bigger ones and the small ones. The Nissan NV200s and the NV1500 and 2500s is what we use.
Okay. Now, James, how much background in restoration did you really put into what you guys were developing over at Gorilla Truck Box?
Well, I mean, I've been in the restoration for about 20 years, and then I've been on the supply side for 25. But I mean, we had up to 30 some employees when I sold my business and went strictly to supplies. So I went through quite a bit of issues, trying to organize 30 employees and keeping them moving and not wasting time. I mean, heck, I'd sometimes come in the morning, the guys would be there, it'd be 45 minutes, and they've been there for 45 minutes, they still ain't out the door yet. And you get 30 employees wasting 45 minutes. You're that's dollars, man. And so you start thinking about ways to make things more efficient.
I like that. Bobby, you're laughing. Does that strike a chord with you at all?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, you always are looking for efficiency and in and out of vehicles, So, because each job requires different amounts of equipment. Every job is not the same. You might need 30 air movers on one job, 50 on another one, and you might need 10 on another. So it all varies. And then just being able to have the efficiency of space is definitely important.
All right. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the design and the functionality specifically for these vehicles in the restoration space. So, Bobby, go ahead.
So, James, I wanted to ask you because I see you have three models here. I see you have the G1, G2, and the G3. I wanted to know if you could break down the key differences for us, um, and what do you think the differences are that would fit best in the restoration space?
Yeah, that's the reason for the different models is to meet the needs of different people. Our G1 is more designed for the restoration guy, and the G2 as well. G2 is a little more compact vehicle, a little maybe easier to maneuver around over the G1, which is are on 45 or 5500 trucks, and they're diesel. They're all diesels. We build a lot of them on four-wheel drive too, and they have pull-out ramps and so forth. But they're a little bigger truck than our G2. Um, Nice thing about our G2 that's a little different. It doesn't have a pull-out ramp, but the deck sets lower, so it isn't that hard to get DUs out of the back of it, especially with the newer, smaller design stuff that's out there. Um, but you can put a CDS, a Hydromaster CDS clutch drive system if you're familiar with those in that unit. In fact, I kind of built that truck around it. So that means all your machine and reels and everything go out that side door, and then you have the whole back end of the truck wide open. Besides, you have on the driver's side, you can put 44 air movers and dehumidifiers on the side, but you have another 7 foot of space on the back end to fill it full of whatever you want, air movers, dehumidifiers, and so forth. So those two trucks are designed more for the restoration. Now we do have a crew cab in the G1 too, Silverado model. So you can carry up to 6 passengers. So if you're storm chasing and you want 6 guys to go in one vehicle, and then those trucks are diesel, so we put hitches on all of them, so you can pull a trailer full of drying equipment. Obviously, you can make a truck as big as an 18-wheeler, but it ain't that convenient to drive around. So, so there's kind of you got to pick the truck that works best for what you do in your industry. And then some people are just doing homes, and some people are doing big commercial jobs. So it's depends on the truck that works best for you. So that's what we're trying to do with our different trucks, and we have another new truck coming out that we'll talk about later, maybe.
Okay. So James, I have a question for you because with me being a restoration guy too, um, one thing I'm trying to, because I've never seen it out in the field. I'm wondering, is this something that you guys could customize and do? I don't know, but I'm gonna throw it out there anyway. So, with us not only just doing restoration, we do carpet cleaning and we do air duct cleaning as well too. Do you think a truck could ever be created that could handle a truck mount and the air duct cleaning equipment at the same time?
I never have looked into that. I've seen multiple ones. I never had the truck mount ones, the ones that have the big chutes that come out the top of them and all of that. I don't know. I've never looked into that. I'm sure it can be done. It's everything can be done. But is it efficient enough? I think air ducts is a whole nother animal, but you'd have to tell me more about that because I never got into that part of it. uh, we did restoration, but we hired that out usually when it came to duct cleaning.
All right, so it sounds like after today's interview, you two are going to get together and create a brand new service vehicle that incorporates air duct cleaning along with restoration services. Glad I can make this introduction. I would just like a royalty on each one of these trucks.
Clint, we got you, man. We're gonna create this truck, man. We're gonna sell a million of them. Watch.
Sure. You got my wheels turning, Bobby. I don't know.
Let me ask you this question as well, James. When it comes to job site efficiency, what are some of the features that your customers are saying that is the biggest impact for them, and what's helping them out the most?
Well, organization's a big one, but the big thing that saves money, in my opinion, and I learned this, in my company, is we were constantly coming back and forth because I need 2 more air movers. So you get a guy an hour away from you, and he finds out he needs 2 more air movers. Either you got to drive out there, or he's gonna drive 2 hours back and forth just to pick up 2 air movers. And and that is time is money, and you're burning labor, and you're burning gasoline, and, yeah, our trucks are a little more higher than maybe a basic box truck that you can buy and try to put shelving and everything in it, but, even if it's a few $1,000s more, you're gonna make that up on the efficiency that you're gonna have with these trucks. Because really, you're an emergency service business. You need to be like a fireman, and all you do is step out, jump in your truck, and take off. You don't want to say, okay, well, how many square feet they think it is? Or do I need 20 air movers? Do I need 50 air movers on here? You need to have all that already on your truck. You need to have wall drying systems on there. You need to have your meters, your tools for ripping out drywall, and all that stuff needs to be on your truck. You don't need to think about it, and because we used to with those little trucks, the little vans and stuff, every morning we'd load them, and then we come back in, we'd unload them, and then we'd look at what our job is and what we're gonna have to put on it again. Well, that's just so much loss of time and money trying instead of being ready to go in an instant.
Mhm. Well, I appreciate you for answering that for me. Another question that I wanted to ask you, because this is a big concern for a lot of restoration companies. I'm going to say this too, because I operate in Birmingham, Memphis, and Atlanta. And I don't know if you know, but all three cities on first 48. So I want to jump into, the security part of the vans. What are some security measures that were taken, with the vehicles? Because I know people have, I know myself, we have expensive equipment, we have expensive tools. I know specifically here in Memphis, our Cadillac converter got stolen off the bomb. That's a whole nother story within itself. But but ultimately, when you have a service vehicle, you want it to have, you want to have, a vehicle that's safe. It can secure your tools and not worry about your hard-earned money walking away in a vehicle that you're out there to service your customers with.
Yeah, we try to address that the best we can. I think we've done as good as anything can be done at this point. I think thieves are opportunists. They don't bust windows out of cars and steal stuff out. Most of the time, they just look for cars that are the doors are unlocked, and they go through and steal the stuff out of your. It's the same way when you're in there and you got your hose stretched out all the way into the apartment complex. Your vehicle's wide open. A lot of those trucks have to have air for their engines and all that. So all our compartments are locked. So all your wands that would be left in your truck and all that would be in a locked compartment. All your chemicals are in a locked department, all your tools are in locked compartments, and you push one button and unlock them all at once, so you ain't gotta get your keys out. I mean, that's an option you can add on, but we put them on most vehicles, so most everybody love them. You just push a button. And the cool thing about our G2 is if you put a CDS model in there, you can pull down your roll-up door, and we have ports where your hoses come up and hook in, and it's completely locked up. Uh, you cannot, uh, crawl into that vehicle, without, busting the window out, to get to the stuff. So, uh, I think it's as secure as any vehicle can be for our industry.
That's really a big selling point right there, James. Because I mean, I talk to restoration companies every day. Some of them in some of the biggest and best markets in the country for restoration, but some of those markets are also keen to burglary, right? So it's nice that you guys put some thought into it when you were creating these trucks and compartmentalizing where people lock things up. So you're absolutely right. We don't want to create a bigger opportunity for that thief that is out there looking for their next opportunity. So,
Mm.
now you guys, how long have you been making the Gorilla Truck Box?
We started in 2013.
Okay. So we've been at this for a little over a decade. What kind of feedback have you gotten from restoration companies that are actually using these vehicles out in the field?
Well, you get comments like, "This is the best vehicle for our industry, hands down," is the comments. I had one lady too that said, I'm buying your truck for one reason, liability." And this never occurred to me, but she said, "I have had multiple injuries of employees going in and out of trucks, slipping and falling off a bumper." She said, "I had one one employee that was over a year out on workman's comp because he slipped and fell out of the back of the truck." And she said, 90% of our stuff, you can walk up on from the side and grab what you need. You're not crawling in and out of the truck all the time." So, that was, something that someone told me that I really didn't give much thought to, but it is true. It's a lot more efficient just to walk up and grab your tools instead of having to crawl in and out of the back of a truck. And that's tiresome, and you gotta lock it up and, all that stuff that goes with it. So, but the organization is why most people buy this truck and efficiency. You're gonna be, if you got a place for everything and everything in its place. For instance, when you go out and you're getting ready to leave and you look in your compartment where all your wands and tile tools and stuff are, if one of them's missing, you immediately see that. Hey, it's not in its clip. It's not in its place. I need to go back in and get it before I take off. Until you get all the way back to your building and you realize, man, I left tools over.
Yeah, I never thought about that. One of the things that I did notice is when you look in his at his service vehicle, because like I said, Bobby, I got to see it
Yeah.
actually at the RIA event. Everything has a place. Like
Okay.
every wand has a place, every tool has a place, every hose, every chemical, dehumidifiers, air movers. I think there was a compartment specifically for moisture meters, if I'm not mistaken. I
Okay.
mean, literally everything had a place. So you're really going to lower the number of items that you have the potential of leaving at a job site there. So, from a business perspective, James, I know you mentioned efficient or response time as being one of the big things that really helps restoration companies because again, they're more like firefighters, right? The truck is loaded and ready to go, and when you're in emergency services, response time is everything. It could mean whether or not you actually get an on-site visit and a job out of that phone call there. Talk a little bit about windshield time, right? So you mentioned when you're stocked with all of the necessary equipment and you stumble upon an emergency job that may be a little bigger than you anticipated. How much window time are we talking about saving for a restoration company in terms of driving back to the warehouse and getting additional equipment?
I think that'd be a good question to ask Bobby because I bet he's experienced it. I know he's experienced it because he's been in it long enough and he's working in 3 states. So, how many times do your guys do that a year?
What, window time?
No, yeah, going back to your shop, hunting parts that they didn't get on, or what?
Happens all the time. I mean, it probably happens a few times a day, every day. You know what I mean? So it's a normal thing.
If you can eliminate that, how much money can you save on gasoline and labor?
Absolutely, and that's a question I wanted to ask too, because I think that's a big thing that restoration companies want to know as well, is when they are looking for a service vehicle, like how efficient gas wise are the vehicles? How many miles per gallon do they get on the road and things of that nature? Because I know me as a business owner, I'm always looking at my fuel cars like, why do we spend this much this month or whatever the case may be? So how efficient are they?
Well, I think none of these vehicles, unfortunately for our industry, are that efficient because once you get them weighed down with 2,000 pounds, and yeah, vehicles in them, they're all getting 10 to 12 miles through the gallon on the highway. They might be getting 15. I've never drove with a Nissan, so I'm not sure what they get. They're probably more efficient than a lot of the other ones, uh, but the diesels, are going to be, obviously, if you're pulling trailers and all that kind of stuff, are going to be your best vehicle for doing that. If you're pulling trailers and stuff like that, because they're just got a lot more torque and they got the power to pull wherever you want to pull with them. But most of these but what I've found, when I had 30 employees and we were doing a lot of restoration is that, I mean, when you're going across town and you're doing a job that's 20 grand, you're not really worried about $5 more in gas or any of those kinds of things. You're really wanting to be efficient, get in that job, get out of that job, and get your claim in and make money. And and some people argue that my truck is too expensive, and it is. It's expensive. It's probably 20 grand more if you were to go out and buy a box truck and you were to spray bed liner in it, you'd build some sort of shelves in it, you'd put lights in it, if you put electric locks in it, backup cameras and everything that's on my truck, you're gonna be probably within $10,000 of what my truck costs, and then are you gonna be as efficient? And but mine you can just pick up and drive away and it's ready to go. So, it ain't for everybody, but we also we sell every type of truck available. I mean, if you want a standard Chevy van, I got over 100 of them sitting around right now. You want a high roof Ford Transit, Dodge Sprinter, whatever you want. We've got them. Just Gorilla's our top of the line vehicle when it comes to efficiency. All those others, you got to do something to them to make them efficient. Ours is built for efficiency.
I like that. James, let the audience know where you're physically located.
We're physically located in Tulsa, Oklahoma City, and Wichita. We have 3 different locations there.
But you can ship anywhere nationwide. I don't care if they're out in Long Island, New York, or Miami, Florida. If they want one,
We ship from coast to coast, and a lot of guys will fly in and drive our truck off too. So that's an option. I mean, nice thing about that, if you drive in and if you fly in and drive it off is, especially if you had us install the truck mount and all the equipment in it, we go over all that kind of stuff with you and go through the whole how to maintain it and all that kind of stuff before you take off. So sometimes that's a nice way to do it. And
what percentage of your clients actually fly in to pick up their service vehicles?
about 50%. I actually ship about 50% and about 50% fly in. Some guys are just too busy. They ain't got time to fly in. So they said, ship it to my door. So,
Well, I imagine once they buy one and they know what they're getting from you, you've
exactly.
probably got restoration companies that have multiple Gorilla Truck Box vehicles in their service fleet right now, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right. So I guess kind of going back, what does the ordering process look like? Are these already sitting there on the lot ready to be picked up tomorrow? Or is there a process that's involved in actually getting one ordered?
I have about 40 trucks right now in stock of different models. It varies as we get towards the end of the year. I can start selling completely out. Most of the time I do sell out. Sometimes I have some that carry on into the next year. It takes about a year to build one of these trucks, right now, close to a year, about 8 months. When I first started building them before COVID, we were getting them done in about 3 months. So, COVID has just, I don't know, destroyed everything for speed. So
Yeah, they're not the only industry impacted, Trev. Um, I guess I had an additional question because Bobby and I had a conversation a couple weeks ago about branding and how important that is for restoration companies. Especially when it comes to their service vehicles, right? People underestimate the value of a logo, some professional wraps on your trucks, because of all the moving pieces and doors and whatnot, and on the different G1, G2, and G3 models. How difficult is it to actually wrap those vehicles?
Well, there is more wrap involved, a little that you might get charged a few extra dollars because there's so many doors on it, but when they're wrapped, they look nice. You can go on our website, GorillaTruckBox.com, and I think we have some examples of guys that have their, trucks, completely wrapped, and I've got, probably 100 more pictures I could send you that's not on our website, so, but they look very nice, and they're flashy vehicles too. I mean, when you pull up in that vehicle, they know you're in business.
Well, let me ask you about this, Bobby. When you're hiring new technicians, right?
Mhm.
Um, does it set you apart from some of your competitors looking to make hires in the market if you've got better service of vehicles, if you've got better equipment?
So here's my perspective on it, right? Because there are a lot of different restoration companies out there. Everybody has their own stuff, right? So I think appearance is absolutely important in the restoration space, but also I think it's important to be able to have the tools that you need to get the job done. Now, if you can stand apart, let's say for example, one of the customizable trucks, yeah, absolutely. You want to, it's nice to have the extra bells and whistles. But in this industry, I'm always preaching um, efficiency with your company, whether it's with a vehicle, whether it's with your equipment, whatever the case may be. Then that's the route I say to go with. Because in this bit, because I want to give, let's talk about this. Let's say, for example, you're a newer person in the industry, right? And a newer person getting started in the industry doesn't necessarily have the financial means to go for the bells and whistles. Now, companies that are more established, I think it's a great way to start to separate yourself. But the newer restoration contractor doesn't necessarily have the means to do that. And a reason why I preach that, because James, I don't know if you noticed now, I'm a franchisor as well too. So I franchise my company as well, and we have franchisees. So one thing that is important, to me and franchisees is the efficiency, ability to grow, ability to scale. And as you know, the longer you're in business and the more you're able to market, the more you can grow your company. So that kind of leads me into another question I wanted to ask you, James, was um, every restoration company has their own needs. And I'm sure that they're going to ask you different questions. Can you customize this way? Similar to what I just said, can you do a truck mount and air duct cleaning in a truck? I'm sure other companies are going to ask different questions as far as how customizable they are. And I'm a car guy too, so I got excited when I saw that the Chevy Express was finally getting redesigned. I thought it was going to be the same forever, and it's finally coming out with a new design. I think it's 2026, 2027. Are you guys going to look into using the new Chevy City Express? And again, how customizable are you guys to restoration contractors out there? Again, because like I said, I know you have the uh different models of the vans. Again, like I said, you may have a newer restoration contractor, you may have some guys that have been in the business a little bit longer. How customizable are the trucks depending on the customer that you're getting at that time?
I think we can do more customization than anyone on the planet in our industry as far as that goes. We don't like to move like on our gorilla trucks. We're not necessarily going to move a wall for you in there, but we have all kinds of clips and accessories of how to store stuff, and even if you're not buying the equipment from us, if you bring us your equipment, we'll set it up in the truck for you, and we can put ladder racks on the trucks. There's a lot of different things that we can do, but the reason for the different models too is kind of to fit the needs of different people too. We don't just have one truck and trying to make it fit everybody's needs because it just doesn't work that way. What a carpet cleaner does, if he's just a carpet cleaner, is a lot different from a restoration guy. That's why our G3 is more designed for a carpet cleaner, but it's also a carpet cleaner that may be doing multiple services. Because back in the day, it was mainly carpet, but today you go in any new home, what do you see? Wood,
Would
tile. They may have carpet in the bedrooms, but the carpet's declining quite a bit. Uh, so if you ain't doing all those different services, you're gonna carry a wood floor cleaning machine, you're gonna carry a tile cleaning machine. tools and or rotary and different things. So it just takes up a lot more room, even to be a carpet cleaner today, if you're going to stay up with the trends. Because if you're just doing carpet cleaning today, I would think your sales is going like this because it's yeah, there's just like my house. I got 3 bedrooms with carpet in it, and the rest of it's all wood flooring and stuff. So you got to stay up with the trends. But yeah, we can customize a lot of different ways. I'll even customize a whole box for you, but I ain't gonna do a one-off. It's just not worth my time to do a one-off. It's gonna be for big companies that want, hey, we're looking to do, 5, 10, 20 trucks and our whole fleet's going, and I want this done. Like, we can do that.
I like that.
Oh, absolutely. And to your point, I 100% agree. I mean, a lot of different flooring out there now, hardwood, tile, but ultimately the truck mount, you can hook up to the truck mount and you can do the floor cleaning with the hard surface, the carpet cleaning. So that's the cool thing about, you know, because even though we're a restoration company, I think I was telling you before, Clint, I consider us more as a service company. Restoration is a service that we offer, but we're not solely just a restoration company. I like to be more versatile when it comes to that because we do more than just water, fire, mold, and so forth and so on.
It's funny you mentioned that, Bobby, because over the last 8 years, my digital marketing agency, we have focused exclusively on working with restoration companies.
Mhm.
But I am finding more and more of the restoration companies that I work with are adding these additional home services, right? And tying that into James and his service, it really seems like that level of organization, that level of efficiency becomes even more important when you start rolling out these additional services, right? If you've got a guy that's in the field wrapping up a mitigation job and you get another opportunity for a different job that may be a few blocks away, if he already has that equipment in the truck ready to go, he doesn't have to drive an hour to get back to the warehouse to reload before he heads out that way. So, all right, James, before we get wrapped up here, I want to talk a little bit about what's coming down the road, what for the future of Gorilla Truck Box. So we know we've got the G1, the G2, the G3. We know you guys have plenty of standard vehicles that you guys provide as well. There's a level of customization that might be available for those that are interested. Um, Give our audience a little insight. What's on the horizon? What's future models look like? What are some future features that we could see dropping let's say the immediate future? I'm not talking about the robot trucks that drive themselves. I'm just talking about the next couple years here.
Well, I mean, we do have a new model coming out that's going to be actually. I'll have some arriving in November. It's it's sim. The box is a little different. All the curbside is pretty much the same because you want the efficiency to get a roll up door to get to all your machines and stuff, and you want to be able to grab your chemicals when you need them and your wands and all that. So that's all the same. But we put a this truck is a 3500 Silverado, a dual wheel, and so the box has nothing on the driver's side of it. So you can one of the problems we have had with our truck is not all truck mounts will fit in ours. Most of them will, but since we have an 8 foot wide truck and we take up about 2 feet of it on the driver's side for air movers and so forth. If you remember looking at it, uh, most of us are set up that way. This new one will not have that, but it will have two. It'll have a roll-up door in the back and have a roll-up door on the side. And it'll have for air movers and dehumidifiers, it's going to have petitions that we adjust according to the size of the truck mount and the waste tank that you put in them. So just about anything you want to put in that will go in that truck. I know like Steam Action has some really big monster truck mounts that a few of those have not been able to fit in our trucks, but so this one will kind of be able to work with any of those type of big monster truck mounts. I mean, most of our trucks will. I mean, an Everest will fit in. Won't fit in our G3, but it'll fit in our G2 and our G1s, which is a big truck mount in itself. But there's some bigger ones out there, like I say. But so we made that adjustment on this truck. It's gonna be a pretty cool truck. So and it's gasoline. The problems with the 45 and 5500s, they're all diesels. So some people don't like to deal with the diesel. So it's another one of those preference things. But we do have electric vehicles too, vans, but to me, I'm not sold on them. I, dude, I think they're about 10. I think they're 10 years behind. I don't have time to stop and charge up a vehicle. And the kind of the latent equipment we put in them, it just doesn't work for our industry yet.
Not in our industry. All right. For our audience, thanks for sticking around. We hope you got some valuable insight about what Gorilla Truck Box is doing for service vehicles. James, tell the audience if they're interested in finding out a little bit more about these models, a little bit more about you, potentially looking at making that investment. What's the best way for them to find more information and then reach out to you?
GorillaTruckBox.com. You can go on there and look at our trucks. We got multiple videos on there. We're constantly trying to update it. There's an area where you can type in want more information, want someone to call you, and we'll usually call you that next day. I give my number out to everybody. 918-693-1925. That's my cell. I've been in the restoration business where they call me at 2 a.m, so it don't bother me. Well, just call me. I'll talk to you.
James, we will drop the website
Well,
link.
James, I'm going to be reaching out to you, man. I want to find some more out about the trucks as well. So I'm going to be reaching out to you myself.
Now, do I get a commission if he buys a truck from you, James? Because I feel like I made this introduction.
I think we should be able to work something out.
All right. So for our audience, thanks again. If you're interested in reaching out to James and the folks over at Gorilla Truck Box, we're going to put a link in the description that'll take you to their website. We might even put James' cell phone number in the description so you guys can give him a call directly. He sounds like
just be kind.
Yeah, be kind. Be kind. All right, James, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for jumping on here with us. I'm looking forward to seeing the new model next year at the RIA event. So.
Sounds good. Looking forward. We'll be at the experience show too. If anyone's going towards the experience, we'll have.
Thinking about it. I'm thinking about it. I had a really good time at the RIA event. That's actually my first restoration industry event I attended. So really good crowd.
We teamed up with Hydromaster for the experience show. We'll have our G2 there with their Hydromaster CDS unit, their clutch drive system. So you'll see it all equipped out at that show. So it's one good way to look at it if you're going there. There you can write off a vacation or something.
Don't tell Uncle Sam that. All right, guys. Thank you again for joining us. Bobby, thank you as always. For the audience, thank you for listening. Remember to like, subscribe, follow us on social media. Leave it a thumbs up or a comment. We really appreciate it. And to our restoration companies out there, as always, I ask you to stay dry, stay busy, and stay safe out there. Thanks, James. Thanks, Bobby.
Thanks, James. See you guys later.
Good to meet you guys.
Thank you for listening to the Restoration Pros Unplugged podcast. If you like what you heard today, be sure to subscribe, share, and also leave us a 5-star review. We'll be back with more interviews and discussions with restoration industry leaders really soon. In the meantime, if you're a restoration company looking to add more high-value water jobs, you can reach me and my team at waterrestorationmarketing.net. Again, that's waterrestorationmarketing.net. I look forward to hearing from you soon.